What's up mga kasel? I'm here to show you my cell city analogy. First of all, let's talk about nucleus. Nucleus is a central organelle of a eukaryotic cell containing most of the cell's DNA, and inside of the nucleus it contains the chromosome. Chromosome is a long DNA molecule with a part of all the genetic materials of an organism. Most eukaryotic chromosomes include packaging proteins called histones, which, aided by the chaperone proteins, bind to and condense the DNA molecule to maintain its integrity. And in this cell city analogy, the warden office represents the nucleus and the warden represents the chromosome. The warden is the one who knows the prison well and controls all the happenings on the prison. And also the warden's office contains all forms and papers of the prisoners or the previous prisoners. So it seems like it contains the DNA or the chromosome of the prison. And of all, let's talk about the Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus, also known as the Golgi complex or the Golgi body or simply the Golgi, is an organelle found in most eukaryotic cells, part of the endomembrane system in the cytoplasm. It packages proteins into membrane-bound vesicles. And in this, it represents the water supply of the prison because the water supply supplies the water which serve as the protein of the, the of the cell city analogy. Third, let's talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. In essence, the transportation system of the eukaryotic cell and has many other important functions such as protein folding. It is a type of organelle made up of two subunits, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is found in the most eukaryotic cells and forms our interconnected network or flattened membrane and closed sacs known as cisterns and tubular structures in the SER. The membranes of the ER are continuous with the outer nuclear membrane. And in this cell city analogy, it represented the water pump. The water pump um, is the one who's responsible for carrying the water or giving the water supply the exact or the water to 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 go to the prison cells. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane or the cytoplasmic membrane, and historically referred to as the plasma lemma, is a biological membrane that separates the interior of a cell from the outside environment, which protects the cell from its environment. And in this cell city analogy, it is represented by the wall. The cell wall is a structural layer surrounding some types of cells. Just outside the cell membrane, it can be tough, flexible, and sometimes rigid. It provides the cell with both structural support and protection, and also acts as a filtering mechanism. So, in this cell city analogy, it is represented by the fence, which is the outer layer or outer protection for the prison. Nuclear envelope, also known as the nuclear membrane, is made up of two lipid bilayer membranes that in eukaryotic cells surrounds the nucleus, which encases the genetic material. The nuclear envelope consists of two lipid bilayer membranes, an inner nuclear membrane and an outer nuclear membrane. The space between the membranes is called the peninsular space. It is usually about 10 to 50 nm wide. The outer nuclear membrane is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum membrane. The nuclear envelope has many nuclear pores that allow materials to move between the cytosol and the nucleus. And in this cell city analogy, it is represented by the enclosed building. As we can see in the graph or in the picture illustrated in this video, you can see the fence is the outer layer of the or the cell wall, and you can see in the inner part of the prison that there is an enclosed building with such a which in fact the the nucleus in is inside, or the warden's office is inside. Lysosome is a membrane-bound organelle found in many animal cells. They are spherical vesicles that contain hydrolytic enzymes that can break down many kinds of biomolecules. A lysosome has a specific composition of both its membrane proteins and its luminal proteins. And also, lysosomes act as the waste disposal system of the cell by digesting in-use materials in the cytoplasm from both inside and outside the cell. Material from outside the cell is taken up through endocytosis, while material from the inside of the cell is digested through autophagy. Autophagy. Sizes of the organelles vary greatly. The larger ones can be more than 10 times the size of the smaller ones. They were discovered and named by Belgian biologist Christian Devoe, who eventually received the Nobel Prize in Psychology or Medicine in 1974. And this lysosome, or the lysosome, is represented in this cell city analogy by the police and watchtowers, because the police prevents intruders or prevents the prisoners to go out the compound, or the prison compound. And the watchtower is the one who's been continuously protecting or guarding the prison compound, and it prevents the riot inside. Like the lysosome, it prevents unknown materials inside the cell. Mitochondria or mitochondrion is a double membrane bound organelle found in most eukaryotic organisms. Mitochondria generate most of the cell supplies of adenosine triphosphate, or the what we call ATP, used as a source of chemical energy. They were first discovered by Albert von Kolliker in 1880 in the voluntary muscles of insects. The mitochondrion is popularly nicknamed the powerhouse of the cells. And in this cell city analogy, you can see that one in the one who is in the separate building, or in the separate outside building of the enclosed building, you can see there the generator. The generator, which is the one, or the one who's represented the mitochondria, or the powerhouse of the cell, because the generator provides electricity or power through the prison compound. So it is, we can also call it the powerhouse of the prison cell. Or in other hand, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
All for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you.